Hello and welcome to digital image processing using Python. Uh, I am Mr. Ahmed and we will be discussing edge detection, compass operator and gradient of images. Okay, in our last lecture we discussed first and second order derivatives are differencing in detail. In short, first derivative could be of three types: forward, backward differencing, and the center difference. And then this could either be horizontal or vertical, like this one, horizontal or vertical. And this is the central difference, horizontal form and then vertical form. And this is the new gradient which is called Robert gradient, and it's very much similar to the backward or forward difference, but it is aligned along the diagonal. So we have 1 minus 1 along the diagonal or cross diagonal. So first derivative are backward or forward and center differencing are used to detect horizontal or vertical edges, and this Robert gradient can help us in finding edges along 45 or minus 45 degree. So the concept of gradient is to calculate horizontal component and the vertical component. Say this is the horizontal component and the vertical component, then compute the magnitude using standard formula. And Roberts operator produce the image as expected. I mean the operator with 1 minus 1 along the diagonal has enhanced the edges, diagonal edges. So this is the original image. This is the original image. This is the image enhanced using edges are enhanced using Robert operator with 1 minus 1 along the diagonal, along the cross diagonal, whereas this one with 1 minus 1 along the diagonal. So these edges are enhanced, and similarly in this image cross diagonal edges are enhanced. So smoothing the image before edge detection gives promising results, because differencing works as high pass filter and noise itself is a high frequency component. So differencing enhances the noise. You can observe that first image is noise free, this one, and this first and second derivatives are also displayed, whereas a 1D profile, which is in fact a one line extracted from this image, is also plotted as a ramp function, white color, a linearly changing shade, and then a black color, and then its derivative is like a pulse in 1D function. And similarly second derivative is like impulse at this edge and negative impulse at this edge, because it's a negative slope and it's a positive slope. So this image is a noise free image. In the second image, in the leftmost column, this image is contaminated with a small amount of noise, small amount in a way that we have contaminated this image using small variance, noise generated using a small variance. So but the noise is still not visible in 1D profile, I mean this ramp, but considerably enhanced in this first derivative. So you can see the noise which is in fact added in this image and is visibly not clear but enhanced in its first derivative, and even more in second derivative. But amazingly the impulses are still visible. Two impulses, a positive impulse and a negative impulse, representing these edges, and the edges are even visible in second derivative display of the image. And now we have another image, same image with which is contaminated with even higher variance of noise. And once again, its ramp function or ramp profile is still looking clean, but its first derivative is like worst. But the image derivative is still uh, better. I mean, you can observe the edges, though there is a little less difference in dark and the bright shade as compared to the original image. Uh, but in second derivative is edges are almost washed out, are suppressed in noise. So visibly these edges, which were very clear in the original or clean image, are not visible in case of this image. And in case of the fourth image, which is in fact contaminated using even more variance of noise, and this time the noise profile is very much clear in the 1D profile of this image. And though this its 1D profile of the first derivative is not even recognizable, but in the image plot edges are still little visible, but in second derivative it is completely like a nice image. So there is no doubt that derivative helps us, first and second derivative helps us in finding edges or detecting edges and are enhancing edges, but at the same time it amplifies or enhances the noise. So the solution is uh, averaging or smoothing with derivatives. On average, noise reduces the noise resides on smoother surfaces and has smaller values as compared to edges. Uh, let's talk about pre-weight operator. It's a derivative in x and averaging in y. So as we know that the mask operation is a linear operation, and we can cascade mask operations, like we can apply one mask on the image, then another mask on the image. So it's better to calculate one mask using two masks or two kernels. So we have an averaging mask or averaging filter along y-axis and central differencing along x-axis. So by convolving these two masks we will get this one. It's like this mask is multiplied or placed at first row, then second row, then third row. So it's like 1 by 2, 0 minus 1 by 2, and it's 1 over 3. Taking 1 by 2 as common from this mask, we will get 1 over 6 over here. So 1, 0 minus 1 along each row. That's the output of convolution of these two horizontal and vertical masks. So we got this 3 by 3 kernel, which is called pre-weight operator. And similarly we can design another operator along x-axis, I mean horizontal, using the same concept. And similarly we have Sobel operator, which we will discuss on the next slide. Sobel operator, definitely it is an improved version because it is using Gaussian like weights for averaging 1, 2 and 1, and it is in fact divided by 4 because total sum of these values is 4. So it's in fact multiplying a greater weight with the central pixel to the central pixel. So it's like a Gaussian like weighted average, and we have the same central differencing mask over here. So taking 1 by 2 common, we will get 1 over 8 over here, and then 1 0 minus 1, and then 2 0 minus 2, and then 1 0 minus 1. Simply central line is multiplied by 2. So just by convolution we got this operator. It's called Sobel operator along to detect horizontal edges. And similarly we can design a Sobel operator like this. This time we have averaging mask along x-axis and then differencing mask along y-axis, and then by convolution we got this Sobel operator. So this is a very well known operator. It's used widely in advanced operators like edge detections. I mean, this operator is used in gradient, and then gradient is used in Canny edge detector, and Canny edge detector is the most widely used edge detecting algorithm. So this Sobel operator is like one of the well-known or most used kernel. So here is we have a pivot operator, vertical pivot operator, and then horizontal, and similarly a Sobel operator. Two shapes of the Sobel operator, and then there is an improved version which is proposed by Jane, and it's improved in a way that it will smooth a little bit more as compared to these weights, because we have 10 in the center, then minus 3 and 3 and 3. So it's like a Gaussian with more variance. So comparison of Sobel and pivot operator. Just this is the original image, and this is the output using Sobel operator, and this is the output using pivot operator. So Sobel operator performed very well as compared to pivot operator. Compass operators. So pivot and Sobel operators detect edges along x-axis or y-axis, I mean horizontally or vertically, whereas Robert operator is like a first order derivative, or I mean it cannot provide the results like second order derivative. So the solution is to design some filters which are sensitive to narrow range of orientations like 45-degree and so on. So there is always a trade-off between sensitivity to edge magnitude and similarly sensitivity to orientation. There is always a trade-off. If you gain in this parameter, you will lose in another parameter, and so on and so forth. So zeroth kernel like this one, these are the set of 8 filters or set of 8 kernels which are in fact suggested by us, proposed by Krish. And this first kernel and the second kernel, zeroth and second, these are exactly Sobel operators. And then these two, fourth and sixth, are the flipped version or negative of the same filters. So you can observe rest of the 4 are designed in a way that they can detect edges at 45-degree or 135-degree, because the these zero values are placed in either along the cross diagonal or along the diagonal, whereas in case of this, zero values are placed vertically, here horizontally, vertically and horizontally. So using all these filters we can detect in fact angles like 0 angle, then 90 angle, and or 45 or 135 and so on. Here is another set of compass operators which are titled as compass directions like north, northwest, west, southwest and so on. They produce more or less very comparable results. And the kernels displayed are presented on the last slide, and these kernels. So you can enhance or detect edges at angle 45 degree or minus 45 degree. So you can see using single kernel we can detect edges at 45 or minus 45 degree or 135 degree. So a line detection kernel. Look, these kernels are very much different from kernels we discussed earlier. There are positive values in the center and then negative values on both sides. This can help in detection of horizontal line, I mean this kernel. And similarly this kernel then can help in detecting vertical lines. So bright line of pixels or dark line of pixels. So purely we are talking about a line where intensity changes from black to white and then black, and similarly from white to black and then white. And similarly this kernel can help in detecting lines at the angle of 45 degree, and similarly this for minus 45 degree. Here is an example of line detection. The image displayed on top left position is the original image, this one, and this image is convolved with the line detection kernel at 45 degrees. So we got this output, and then a small portion of this filtered image is zoomed in and displayed at location C and D, I mean C and D. So these two images are in fact zoomed out images, and then this is like thresholded or scaled images of the same line detection output. Function gradient. This is a very important topic considering computer vision and overall conclusion of this topic of edge detection and edge enhancement. So just consider a function of two variables f of x, y, just like our images are any function. So we can compute this quantity which is called gradient at some point. So it's like partial derivative of this function along x-axis and then partial derivative of this function along y-axis. So we can compute these partial derivatives using Sobol operator along vertical axis, along horizontal axis. So if we compute these two components at some point on image or some surface, then definitely we will get this vector, because these are two values in one array. So it's like a vector. So gradient computed at any point on an image is like a vector. So we can compute, so it's a vector, we can compute its magnitude using standard formula, x component square and then y component square and whole square root, and similarly we can compute direction. So these two values are in fact scalar values, like one value, single value, a scalar value or scalar value. This representing magnitude, this representing some angle. So let us consider this function of two variables f of x, y. Remember our images are also function of two variables, x-axis and y-axis, but they are not plotted as 2D function. Rather we in fact display images as color coded images. So let us consider a point on this surface, say over here, and then direction of the gradient will be and will point towards the direction of maximum change, and the magnitude will represent the magnitude of that maximum change. So we can compare say two values. If we compute gradient over here, it would be like a small value representing a smaller change along the surface. And if we compute a point over here, so there is a possibility that a greater change, same direction but greater change. So it purely depends on the change in surface at that point. So say at this point, gradient would be like towards this direction. So direction of gradient provides direction of the maximum change of that surface at that point. And similarly, we can compute magnitude that will show the magnitude of change. And similarly, we can apply the same concept on images. Say we compute gradient over here, so it would be like towards the maximum change towards this direction. It's like perpendicular to the edge, a sharp change in intensity from black to white. So that's the maximum change, direction of maximum change. So it purely depends whether how sharp is this change. Accordingly, the magnitude of this gradient would be a larger number. Say over here it would be like this but a smaller number. Magnitude would be a smaller number. At this point, gradient would be like this, but magnitude would be a larger number because there is a sharp change. So we can compute gradient at each point of this image. It would be like a vector. Then we can compute magnitude and direction of that gradient. So in fact, we produce two images, one for magnitude of gradient, one for direction of gradient. So here is the original image, the leftmost, and then this is the magnitude of the gradient, and it's the direction image of the gradient. So we can produce two images as a gradient of image. So gradient itself is in fact a set of vectors for each point, and we cannot display a set of points for each point. So the best way would be to compute the magnitude image and then a direction image. Simple center difference kernel is used to compute gradient along x-axis and gradient along y-axis. Simple central differencing kernel. And then whereas Sobel operator or Sobel kernel can produce some promising results, however, then magnitude of these two images shows very good result. You can see there is no doublet effect or two color line effect. There is only one fine line representing this edge as compared to Laplacian, where we usually get doublet effect. So the image displayed on top left position is the original image. Image on its right is the output image of the gradient along x-axis, and similarly this image is displayed after applying gradient along y-axis. So you can see edges along x-axis or horizontal axis are enhanced in this image, whereas edges along vertical axis are enhanced in this image. So by computing an approximate magnitude, we got this image. Approximate in a way that original gradient magnitude is like gx square plus gy square whole square root, but it is computed using just by adding absolute values of both the gradients, gradient along x-axis and gradient along y-axis. So it's like an approximate of the magnitude. So same gradient is applied, but this time we have blurred the image using 5x5 Gaussian first, and then applied the gradient along x-axis and then gradient along y-axis, and we got this image as magnitude of these two gradients. So you can see the difference. There is a huge difference. So the edges are more prominent as compared to this one, and background is more washed out or removed in this gradient after smoothing. So let's stop this video over here. We will discuss canny edge detector, and then we will discuss one example from computer vision, which is Harris corner detectors. So see you in next video.